What's happening with all my YouTubers and my Instagrammers? Welcome to the next episode on Sterling on Cinemas. That's Cinemas with an S. And today I'll be giving you my review on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Before I begin, if you are new to this video, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, like on both ends, share on both ends if you please, and leave a comment on whatever good or bad you have to say about Shang-Chi. Do you think it's the absolute triumph that everybody says, or do you feel it's overrated and you say it's nothing short of great? But stick around for the rest of the review so you can hear what I got to say about the second movie in Marvel Studios Phase 4. Throughout his life, Shang-Chi, the king of Kung Fu, the master of martial arts, was trained to become an assassin in order to help lead an empire known as the Ten Rings. Led by Wenwu, a.k.a. the Mandarin, played by Leung, the Ten Rings have spent over 1,000 years overthrowing many countries and many civilizations, and he expects his son to do the exact same. Now Shang-Chi must decide if he is going to stay loyal to the wishes of his father and to help him with his family business, or if he's going to use everything he learned for more heroic intentions. Now let me say this, Shang-Chi is overrated. Now, that's not to say that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is nothing short of great and nothing more than exceptionally rich, unlike anything you've seen in the MCU. There are a lot of things in this movie that I think are great. All caps, great. And I do not mean great in a sense of it was not all that. It is not what people say it is. I think it is. But great is the word that appropriately fits how I feel about most things in this movie. The only things that I label as exceptionally rich, like the things that are really over the top new and groundbreaking, well, not groundbreaking, but that makes it stand out, are the landscapes, the beauty, and the level of representation of the Asian culture, both as a whole, in the context of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and in general. Now, one of my favorite podcasters on YouTube right now, John Campea of the John Campea Show, was one of many to go see this movie weeks before it came out. I believe it was 2 weeks prematurely. He went with some of my other YouTube colleagues, the Cosmic Wonder, some of the people I'm subscribed to, the Cosmic Wonder, the Real Rejects, Chris Stuckman at comicbook.com, Brandon Davis, and many more. And they all say the exact same thing. They all feel the exact same way about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. They say it's an absolute best. It's a top-tier, God-level MCU film. They would say it's in its top 3. But me personally, I wouldn't say it's in the top 3. And this goes back to what my man John Campea was saying. He was saying that when you go see this movie, you might love it more than me, or you might love it less than I did. But I can guarantee you will not walk out of this movie saying it sucked. Well, his guarantee was right. I wouldn't say this movie will suck. Do I say it's in my top 3? No. Would I say it's in my top 10? Absolutely. See, when Marvel Studios announced that Shang-Chi was coming in Phase 4, I was not going to be one to jump to conclusions on what this film would be. I wasn't going to automatically assume it was going to have the greatest martial arts you'd ever seen in any movie on the silver screen. But it is a good thing that I didn't, because my reaction to every action piece in this movie is not the same. The action in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is not really my new favorite. I love the physical combat, like the same type of physical action I was looking for in Black Widow, which didn't have what I was looking for. Shang-Chi had it all. But still to this day, even after Shang-Chi, my favorite hand-to-hand combats come from hand-to-hand action scenes still come from the Winter Soldier and Civil War. But let me explain. Just because this is not my new favorite in Shang-Chi, that does not mean that each action scene did not diversify and solidify itself as each standing out from one another. 1 minute you could have fast-paced fighting filled with rapid punches, split kicks, and other Jackie Chan stunts. Or there could be one that is powered by inner peace and spirituality and delivers Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon vibes. Something like this. But with this being a Marvel origin story and about a superhero of a different culture, Shang-Chi, y'all, let me tell you, if you haven't seen this movie, Shang-Chi, I'm telling you, does not waste its time with the thematic elements and the representation and what makes the Asian race stand out in the same way that Black Panther, because I've heard this movie was compared to Black Panther because of the level of representation, and how it celebrates and represents African Americans. The way I see it, the heart and soul of the representation in Shang-Chi will always either be shown within the physical kung fu or the underlying theme of finding your potential. The theme of potential is something that symbolically fits well when telling a story about Asian ancestry. What I believe may have really resonated with Asian viewers, or I hope it did resonate with you if you are Asian and you did watch Shang-Chi and you can relate to Shang-Chi, what he was going through, is how when you are a first generation immigrant, like when you are the first generation in your family that is American, like the first part of you that is American, like you're an Asian American trying to live a life of freedom and fun in America and opportunity, the land of opportunity, you are constantly feeling the weight, the shame, the burden, and the pressure put upon you by your parents, who expect you to achieve certain things or to fulfill their wishes or to follow the plans that they had for you, or to go after what matters most, or to not take your eye off the ball, or to stay focused. You've heard that before. And I know it's pressuring and it puts a lot on you, and you don't need that. Now, this is not to say that finding your potential is not bad or whatnot, but first generation Asian Americans still have the right to pave their own path while honoring all who came before them. The character of Shang-Chi is a Marvel character I had no knowledge about aside from being labeled the master of Kung Fu. So we can only imagine how exciting it was to have a martial artist in the MCU and the type of spectacle we were going to see. Now, when you go watch this character's origin story unfold, it is like unlike any origin story of any other Avenger you've seen in the MCU. This is probably my new favorite origin story in the MCU since Captain America, of any Marvel character in the franchise. But the thing that I believe makes this character different is how you experience many different feels toward him at different stages of his life. During his birth, you feel a sense of happiness because of how Wenwu met Shang-Chi's mother, played by Fala Chen, who I surprisingly love in this movie. Like, she's mostly in the flashbacks, but I really love her performance and how her dynamic with the mother-son dynamic she has with baby Shang-Chi, and how much she means to Shang-Chi in the present day, which is something I really relate to, the mother-son relationship. And during his training, you feel sorrow for Shang-Chi and how he was put through the ringer of fiery torture from age 7 to age 14. And you feel a sense of brief relief when you see him living his life in San Francisco as Sean, the car valet, the San Francisco valet. And during the climactic battle between him and the Mandarin, which, by the way, like everybody has been saying, if you love Dragon Ball Z, you're going to love the climax of this movie. It's got everything you like in Dragon Ball Z, or most, if not all. It has it. Shang-Chi's climax has it here. So during this moment, you feel a sense of awe and how he is coming full circle in the first part of his cinematic journey, because Shang-Chi has a long way to go. Probably up till phase 7 or phase 6 or phase 7. You know, he's gonna have a career. Every new Marvel character will always have a career, always have a story arc. Now, in the trailer, the legendary Michelle Yeoh's Zhu Jiangyan, excuse me if I said that wrong, says to Shang-Chi, "You are a product of all that came before you. You are your mother, and whether you like it or not, you are also your father. You are a part of, those two are a part of you, Shang-Chi." And when I saw the movie, that phrase carried a deeper meaning for me. Liko Wu, Shang-Chi's mother, and Wenwu are like the yin and the yang of Shang-Chi's existence. Liko Wu is like Shang-Chi's greatest blessing, and Wenwu is like Shang-Chi's greatest curse. Two sides of the same coin, making a balance. About the comedy, though, I heard most people saying that the comedy has the type of laugh out loud quality you can find in the Ant-Man movies. Now, I for one would not say that. But the comedy we get comes in the times where we need it the most, which is great. And some of them are brilliantly written jokes. Like when you watch the movie and you hear some of the jokes, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it plays off well in the scenes that they are in. Now, Awkwafina's Katie, Awkwafina, homegirl, funny as usual, makes this very clear with her on-screen chemistry with Simu Liu. And it makes us believe that they genuinely had a long-term relationship for 10 years. Better yet, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if somewhere later down the line in Simu Liu's career as playing this character, because I know they said going forward, everybody's not going to have like a long-term contract like most of the Avengers did in the first era of Marvel Studios' Infinity Saga. But I feel like most of these characters are still going to come back. most of these actors are still going to come back to these characters from time to time again. Like, the next time we might see Shang-Chi is either in a sequel or in one of the crossover movies pre-Secret Wars. But anyway, what I was going to say is I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Simu Liu and Awkwafina just started dating out of the blue. Just saying, right? Mingye Zhang as Zhu Xiaoling, Shang-Chi's sister, is one who was quick to help to overthrow their father. But her choice feels more earned and demanded. Like, when you watch the movie, you kind of have a soft spot for Xiaoling because she was never able to train with the boys, and now she managed to dig her own tunnel of martial arts training and build and be a part of her own underground empire, which is where we see the Abomination fighting Wong. Now, I was expecting a little more of Abomination, but those types of small cameos were the things that kept me, and probably you, wanting to be intrigued about Shang-Chi, and what left us wanting more of The Legend of the Ten Rings. At the time of typing this review, Shang-Chi had a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 98% on audience score, which is very unheard of for most comic book movies. Well, for the MCU, I think John Campea said that this movie has like one of the highest audience scores of any comic book movie, if not just movies in the MCU. But anyway, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was appropriately, how I could say, a very great movie. Now, although it is overrated, I will say it's a very great movie. I would not consider it to be like top tier, like over the roof, bonkers, crazy, or up there like the big kahunas, with the big kahunas like the Captain America movies. However, it offered a diversity of kung fu action. It's almost like the kung fu action in this movie is like a 5-course meal you get at the hibachi grill. Every dish tastes good, but they don't taste the same. You like them all, but they don't taste the same. Brilliant comedy, a ton of beautiful scenery and heart, and some big surprises, especially in that first post-credit scene. But I say that Shang-Chi deserves a 9 out of 10 appropriately, just for taking things up a level in the MCU appropriately, with the world showing us this side of the MCU we've never seen before, and literally opening up the floodgates to opportunities in that first post-credit scene. Like, you'll see what I'm talking about. I won't give anything away, but when you see the movie, you'll see how it really opens the door up to many different directions in the MCU. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my review on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shout out to John Campea. Shout out to the Cosmic Wonder. Shout out to everybody who went to see this movie early and gave it high praise. Thank you for encouraging me to walk into this movie with a lot of high hopes. Even if my feelings and my opinions were not the same as yours, I am glad that your opinions, Cosmic Wonder, John Campea, Real Rejects, and everybody in between, was enough to motivate me to feel excited to see this movie. More excited than I was when I saw the second trailer, The Abomination. But I'll see you guys later with my next video. Bye.